I don't feel like I have blood clots, but I've never had a blood clot before, so I don't know what it feels like.
That's comforting. It's good.
So far, I'm within the time frame so far. They say 6 to 13 days. So it's been 11 days.
Okay.
So we've got a couple more days, guys. So if you're like me and you got that J&J vaccine and you saw the news, you were probably worried a little bit. maybe a little troubled. Maybe it kept you up a little bit.
Maybe you shouldn't have gone to the boutique.
Maybe I shouldn't have gone to a boutique. Well, we deal with the consequences as they come. And we're going to get into that. But before we get into that, we got to get into these brewskis. So, Adam, please tell the people what we're drinking tonight.
We have the SFY Double IPA. It is 1 pint from Threes Brewing. We have no cold copy.
Boo.
It is 8.3% ABV, though, and it is brewed and packaged by Threes Brewing in Single Cut North, and just cuts off.
North?
Just North. Single Cut North, I guess, is its own thing.
Okay.
I was waiting for a Carolina, possibly, a Dakota.
Yeah. Just Single Cut
but it turns
North.
out it's from 6 Fairchild Square, Clifton Park, New York.
Right on. Well, that guy right there is Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Nailed it as always.
Thank you. And I am Marco Dupa, and this is episode 307 of the One Baron Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
That was good. Feel that one in my bones.
Lost to be found by someone to save you when you're down. Yes, I'm bored when it's bright out. So bored when it's bright out. 4 to 5 a.m. takes me to a place where I fit in.
Okay there, buddy. I already know I'm going to drink this one way too fast.
You can feel it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That nice little what is that? What is that citrus there?
It's the hops.
It's those hops. Well, this is the One Baron Podcast, a podcast where two brews crack open a brew and see where that one brew takes us. As I said, episode 307. Thank you guys for joining us. As always, like, share, and subscribe. Podcasts, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify,
YouTube,
Stitcher, all that other shit.
etc.
etc.
If we're not somewhere that you listen, first of all, how are you listening to us right now? But secondly, let us know, because we want to be everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere you are.
We want to be wherever you are. We want to be where
Not a
the
creepy
people
way.
are.
Not in a creepy way.
Well, for him, for me, in a creepy way. So, yeah, I woke up, saw all the articles. They saw that they. So okay, so they put a pause on the J&J vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a recall. They're not doing it. They just put a pause on it so that they can investigate the 6 people out of the 6.8 million people who've already received the vaccine. They want to investigate the 6 people who developed blood clots as a side effect of the vaccine.
Right. And it should be noted, it's not a regular, ordinary kind of blood clot. It's a very specific kind. That's how they know it's, could be related to the vaccine itself.
Yeah. So here's the thing. First of all, you see something like that, and you can't help but be sucked in by the media, by the sensationalism of it.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
You see it.
The
and
headlines.
You're like, oh, fuck me, dude.
Here we go.
I had to be the guy who just couldn't be patient enough to get the 2 shots. I had to be. Oh, I thought I was being Mr. Smart Guy, Mr.
Yeah.
Efficiency. I'll wait in this long ass line. Who gives a shit? Because I'm gonna get J&J and I'm not gonna have to worry about it. Then you see this shit and you're like, God damn it! I can't win for losing.
There's a famous There's a famous Spanish saying, that essentially the cheap people are the ones who end up paying the most. So I sit in judgment in you
and everybody else
and everyone else who went out for the J&J vaccine.
So you see the articles about the vaccine. You see the first thing you see is Johnson & Johnson vaccine paused due to blood clots. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How? And all it does is add fuel to the anti-vaxxer fire.
Right.
And then you read the article and you're like, oh, it was 6 people out of how many? Almost
Millions.
7 million people.
Yeah.
6
Right.
experiencing blood clots.
Not to minimize their deaths in any way, but
Of course not.
to have your takeaway be that suddenly this vaccine is unsafe to use is a little cuckoo bananas.
Yeah, I mean, it highlights a couple of things. It highlights the fact that like there's some people out there who are looking for any excuse to have an argument against vaccination.
Well, and imagine being the type of person who cheers at
When-
the fact the vaccine had some negative side effects.
right.
Like, yeah, that's my team, baby.
Or being the "I told you so" person,
Right.
in an instance like this.
yeah.
And not only does it highlight that, but it also highlights something that, a lot of people have been talking about lately, which is the fact that like this is a symptom of something. This is the same or side effect that say women get with birth control, certain kinds of birth control.
Yeah.
And people say, well, it's a different kind of blood clot, but it's also something that is not dealt with the same seriousness as this is being dealt with. And that's for a number of reasons. Obviously, the vaccine is, it's not FDA approved. It hasn't gone through like all of the vaccines haven't gone through all of the trials for FDA use. They're all like emergency use or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's the fact that like they're trying to get as many vaccines into people as possible so that we can get life back on track. I mean, there's the fact that for, at least 60, 70 years now, women have been taking birth control. And it's just one of those things that sadly women go through in American society. And we all just go, well, I mean, that's chicks, dude.
It's
What do you
the
want?
norm.
Right. And
Sorry.
everybody just, they're like, oh, yikes, they're complaining over there. We could do something about that, but we're not gonna.
We'll address this later.
Yeah, we're gonna wait for enough of them to make a stink about it.
Male birth control? I can't hear you. What?
What? That doesn't even. That sounds so. Male birth control.
Me? No.
I would never. Would you
take male birth control?
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, we've talked about this before. Actually, it was a major.
We have.
It was a major topic. I think maybe 2 years ago.
Oh, when it became a thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, I wouldn't have any qualms about it.
Well, that was years ago. Now we're different people.
We're totally different people now. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't find anything like weird about that. Like, it's not like taboo to me to be like, yeah, I'll take a pill every day to keep my stuff from not working.
Bro, I would. I'd take it in a heartbeat.
Why not?
I would.
I mean, unless there are massive side effects, which I mean, in some cases with some female birth control, there are.
Yeah.
But that's up to you as a personal decision whether or not you take birth control, because obviously it messes with your hormones and stuff too.
Yeah, I guess it would depend on what the side effects were, because I'm fine with using condoms. I mean, I understand that they suck. And but I mean, it's between that and the
babies
alternative.
or
making a human. Oh God.
Yeah. I think the bigger issue here, though, with birth control, I don't know how we got here, is that even with us talking like this, it's still not a fair discussion. It's not equal with a woman talking about birth control, because the expectation, I should say, is on them to take the birth control.
Yeah.
It's just on a societal level.
Yeah.
So, we can talk like, as long as it's not too risky or it makes me feel a little extra grumpy sometimes,
Yeah.
We can talk like that because we're not expected to have to take birth control as a norm. You know?
Right, yeah.
Whereas most women are expected to carry that burden.
Yeah, and yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
I just wanted to underline that within our discussion.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, sure.
Thank you.
I mean, the idea that
I rest my case.
Women are yeah. If you don't want to use condoms, then yeah, the onus is on women because there is no other option, right?
Sure.
Unless you go into dramatic medical procedures.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But I mean, if you're with a dude who's like, look, baby, I don't know what to tell you. I just can't use condoms. You might want to look at your choice in men.
Yeah. At least get tested.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that's the first
I get the feeling you're not the first one he's told this to, is all I'm trying to say.
Right. You might want to go to the doctor on that one.
Yeah.
Blood clots? Experiencing side effects of fucking a douchebag? So
similar.
So, you read all of this sensational news, and then you get into the nitty gritty of it, and you start finding out that like it's not really that common, but it's enough. You know, it's enough to scare people.
Yeah.
Anything more than 0 side effects is going to be enough right now to scare people.
Yeah. I mean, even the more mild side effects of, you know, I've heard people, you know, obviously have the sort of cold-like symptoms and flu-like symptoms for a day or two.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that's enough to turn a lot of people off rip, even if it's not going to harm them long term. It's just something that, you know, gets people to second guess whether they even need it.
Yeah.
Especially if they're already on the fence and they're like, you know, maybe, you know, I got sick with it last year, so I don't really need. I still got the antibodies.
Like,
so
dog, I swear, I had it like September 2020. You know what I mean? When nobody was even talking about it, I had these weird. I couldn't taste anything for like 2 days.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
Mm-hmm.
I've been had that shit. I got the antibodies.
Don't worry about it.
I'm good.
Don't worry about it.
I'm good. I'm good in any hood. I'm good. I just you know what it made me feel was I had half a thought that maybe I really did get a placebo because
You didn't feel anything?
I mean, the first day I felt a little fatigued, and I was like, is that just because I went to bed late and got up early?
And you were waiting in line for 4 hours.
Yeah. Or was that because of the vaccine? And then after that, I have felt, you know, knock on wood, but I have felt completely fine these past. In fact, I have felt mentally slightly better because of having the vaccine.
Yeah.
I have felt a little bit better about just being in society. So
Yeah.
It's helped my psyche a little bit.
Same. No, I'm glad you mentioned that because same. Like I felt a weight lift off my shoulders, at least a little bit. Like, you know, the monkey's still there, but you know he's swinging every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just sitting on there.
Yeah.
So that's nice. It's nice. What I don't want is for everyone who got the vaccine to suddenly be like, it's all good now. Let's start licking each other.
I got the vaccine. It's licking time.
Right. That was visceral.
I got the vaccine. It's licking
It's
time.
licking time.
It's licking time.
Yeah. I don't want people to go overboard because I think there's just a normal human reaction to this, which is to feel that relief.
Yeah.
And to go, welp, it's back to the old times, baby.
Wouldn't it just be just wanting to be done with all of this?
Yeah, the quarantine fatigue is real. Trust me.
For sure.
I feel it. We all feel it.
Yeah.
But you know, you still got to be careful. They still say to wear a mask when you can and wash your hands as much as you can. So it ain't over, baby. I'm sorry to say it, but it ain't over. But
God,
it's better. It's better.
I was talking to somebody about this whole thing and pandemic fatigue more so than quarantine, and they were like, you know, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I mean, at the beginning of this whole thing, I was really diligent about washing my hands, using hand sanitizer, not touching doors, not touching my face, doing everything that they were telling you to do and all that stuff. And, I just kind of gotten lazy about it. And in my head, I was like,
slowly walk away.
Yeah, I was like, bro, that's not like a hard thing that we're asking you to do. How is that the thing that you have fallen off?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I get more of like, I've stopped wearing a mask as often as I used to.
Yeah, I get that. I get if you say, I'm sorry, but I just needed to leave the house. It's like,
I finally went to a indoor restaurant. I couldn't wait anymore. I got my vaccine. I waited the 2 weeks or whatever it takes to fully kick in. And, I am going to finally go to a sit-down restaurant.
Yeah. If you're saying all that, I understand.
Right.
But if you're telling me that you have gotten tired of washing your hands, like, we're not on the same page, friend. We're not on the same page.
Your dapping rights are over, sir.
That's it. You're getting the fist bump, and I'm wiping the fist, Because that's the one thing that I probably will carry for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Is frequently washing hands.
Sure.
Always having hand sanitizer on deck everywhere.
Yeah.
Trying to not touch my face as much as possible because I may have discussed this on the show before, but I have a habit of picking at my lip. I may have even done it on camera. And
you're safe here.
Yeah, this is a safe space. And that's one thing that I've also been trying to work. Like, try not to touch my face. I don't think I touch my face that much, but picking at my lip, I know for a fact that that's part of the reason that I would get sick sometimes.
Yeah.
Is, when you're working in an office environment and you've got hundreds of people, like a call center environment rather, and you've got hundreds of people going in and out of doors, even if you use the best practices, like you're just bound. It's just too much.
Too many people in one place.
Yeah.
Touching all the same stuff.
And if you slip up once,
it's over.
It's over.
It's over.
So, I just can't. I can't wrap my head around being like, I don't know, man. I just can't wash my hands as often. It's just getting tiresome. I'm getting bored of it.
You're exposing yourself.
20 seconds, brother.
Stop it.
20 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, I think we should probably cap vaccine talk because we've been on it for the past couple episodes, obviously.
Yes.
Sorry, it's a panini, okay?
We're in a parallelogram, bro. It ain't over.
Yeah, it's on our minds.
But let's just say this. We'll cap it with this. If you see these sensational articles, please do the research because these media organizations are not giving you everything. They're trying. A lot of these places are just trying to scare people.
Yeah.
And it's sad that this is the state of journalism in 2021, but you're mostly. I was actually talking to my dad about this, and we can kind of just transition out of it with this. Me and my dad, we do not see eye to eye politically, even a little bit. But the one thing that we both can agree on is modern journalism is just dog shit. Yeah. Sometimes, most of the time. There's no getting around it. And I was telling him, he's talking shit and I'm talking shit, and it made me start to think about why we are where we are with modern journalism. And I came to the conclusion that's not going to be a revelation or anything, but the fact of the matter is you can watch as these media organizations have learned that we as an American society respond more to gossip rags, negative news, obituaries, just bad shit.
Is that true?
No, seriously. Just like when you read about
Obituary Weekly,
not like actual obituaries, but like death.
Sure.
When you read about death,
destruction, war,
things like that,
violence,
and when you're the New York Times or a reputable news organization, and you're losing out to the National Enquirer or People Magazine or some of these other shit, and you're just looking around and you're going, we're trying to tell you people what's going on, and all you give a fuck about are Kardashians and, you know, the next fucking who's a what's it or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. It's also because sensationalism's always sold. It always has.
But there was always a lane for it.
Sure. And you know, specifically because this gets brought up a lot in politics. But mudslinging has always been a thing.
Right.
You know, that's nothing new.
Right.
It's just become bigger over time.
I think that the lanes are merging.
They are. And the reason is that news has become big business. Mm-hmm. It's become something that is click driven. And now it's less of a thing about a pure news source and more a thing about opinionated articles driving at something that you already want to believe. You know? It's feeding people the slop they want to eat. Mm. So, you know, sort of, I don't know. It's a byproduct of capitalism being driven into the news media pantheon of sources and stuff, and it's just become a thing that is more driven on money than it is about information.
Yeah.
And how do you stop that? I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, maybe there's this like pure source that we can whittle out of the rough, but it seems nearly impossible with the fact that we have social media, we have the news media, and then that news media is just an umbrella that sprinkles out into innumerable amounts of lanes that we can get into.
Yeah.
Based on whatever it is your thing is, whatever your belief is, whatever you want to lap up that fits your worldview.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, how many times have you heard somebody go, dude, I have this killer idea. You ready for this? Here's my killer idea. What if we created like a news thing, but it was just the news, bro? Yeah, have you heard this argument?
Sure.
I've heard this multiple times from people who they're like, here's my bright idea. We're gonna create a news organization that
just facts, B.
Just facts. Mm-hmm. Nothing else.
Right.
It's just gonna be news.
Yeah.
It's like
You mean C-SPAN?
It's like, I don't know where you've been, but we already have that.
Yeah.
And we already had that.
Yeah.
And it was corrupted.
Sure.
And what makes you think that you're going to create this no frills, no bullshit news organization, and you're going to give people just the facts, and people are going to flock to this?
Yeah, because Bill O'Reilly was the no spin zone, man.
Right.
He was telling it like it was. Mm-hmm. You know, like there is objective truth wherever you look.
Yeah.
You know?
And you can still...
subjective truth.
Yeah,
That's what I meant to say.
Right.
There is objective truth out there, but the problem is we have to whittle through multiple sources to find it.
Yeah.
And that's a problem because people inherently don't want to do that work.
See, and that's the thing. I don't think it's that hard to find the information that you're looking for. We are so caught up in playing you motherfucker.
I know. It's a little fruit fly, people. Just so you know, it's an emergency.
I'm gonna get it. We're so caught up in playing our side of the table, right?
Sure. It's a team sport now.
If you were looking for information on something, and you wanted to know the facts, mm-hmm. you wouldn't Google incident with Marco Dupa, Fox News. Right?
Yeah.
And it's just because the reputation of that news organization. And I know that I have friends who wouldn't do the same with a backslash of CNN or MSNBC.
NBC, right.
And I get that. And, you know, it's just we're playing this partisan game with news, with facts, with information.
The thing is, and something that I hope other people can do too, is like I tend to gravitate towards liberal-leaning news sources.
No shit.
But I do so with a critical eye. You know, I'm able to look at it and whittle through obvious opinion, obvious bias.
Yeah.
And I'm able to figure out, okay, what are the facts of what actually happened here?
Yeah.
And through that, and then, you know, if I have questions, if something's, you know, not exactly clear from whatever they've given me, I can look further because we have the internet and it's everywhere. So as long as somebody's reported on it and it's a reputable source of some kind, you know, I will trust that those facts are correct.
I just think we're just so far past, you know, I just wish that we could just look at one thing and be able to know, like, okay, I've got the information. Now I can go about my day. You can no longer do that. You have to look at, excuse me, you have to look at multiple organizations. And then if you really want to know what you're talking about, it's a really good thing to, and I know this is going to hurt a lot of people's heads, but you're going to have to look at how the opposition views the same issue.
Yeah.
It's the only way to get a clearer view, even if you don't trust or agree with how they look at or how they're spinning this same issue.
Yeah.
You still need to see how other people are viewing this thing.
Right.
So you have a clear idea of it.
And I think people are so afraid of doing that because it shatters their worldview. But honestly, if you're walking around believing something that's untrue, won't you feel a lot better knowing the truth?
Yeah.
And being smarter about it and having a more honest conversation about whatever issue is going on at the time? I would.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why
that's the whole point. Why would you want to be only half informed?
Yeah.
You know? If you're going to have a debate with somebody, wouldn't you want to know what their talking points are going to be? That's well, I'm not going to say that's Debate Club 101 because I've never been there because I'm not a nerd.
Nerd!
I did do chess club, though.
Ugh.
I did. In middle school.
Uh-huh.
But here's the thing. I'm not going to, I don't want to,
I could kick your ass.
in chess?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. No.
The horsey goes like that.
You want to do this?
Yeah.
You want to do this?
I watched the Netflix show, Queen's Gambit.
Yeah. Everybody watched that fucking show
Yeah.
and thought that they could play chess out of nowhere.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Do you dream about it on the ceiling?
Hey, listen.
I do.
It's fine. It's fun that a show can get its way into the zeitgeist and get people interested in something that they normally wouldn't be interested in. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that the OGs of the game, like myself, who have been playing chess.
I think chess. I think Marco Dupa.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yep.
Listen, I haven't played in years, but I will say that when I was a kid, I was a very passionate chess player. I was. Because it's one of those things that when you're younger and you learn how to play it, it does make you feel smarter than it makes you you're like, oh, you're playing checkers, I'm playing chess. I know these rules.
Right.
You hear
I've heard the rap lyrics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're like, I know that there's a grand master of chess.
There's like a mythology around chess.
Yes, exactly. So
it's the gentleman's game.
We would me and my cousins and a couple of other friends, they would play chess in the library in the mornings before school started. So it'd be me and like 5 or 6 other guys, and then we would all roll in there together. It was like watching.
Did you have a chess gang?
We went in there snapping.
Green
like
Onions
West Side
is playing
Story.
in the background.
No, this was around the time of like grinding. So imagine grinding in the background.
Incredible. Your pieces are vibrating.
So it'd be like a couple of nerds playing, and then like all of us were like, all right, when's our turn? And it was fun because nobody was. It was just a fun thing to do.
Yeah. I don't have such illustrious ties to chess, but I learned because I think my brother picked it up one time. It was just the thing. Like as a teenager, you just get bored and you're like, let me try something out. And so you figured out how to play chess. I forget from whom. But he figured it out, and we played occasionally.
Yeah.
And I think I only beat him like once or twice.
Yeah.
But I was a dumb baby. So, yeah.
Well, you know, and then you get a little bit older, and if you're a hip hop fan, you look at like the Jizza.
Of course. It came. His special edition vinyl came with a chessboard.
Should I? Let me grab it. Let me grab it so people can see it.
All right. Record Store Day. What was it? 2016? Something like that. 2017. Very, very special edition. Only for you, you vinyl dorks such as myself.
Appreciate this.
Are we doing an unboxing?
I just want people to. Yeah, I'll do like a small unboxing.
Uh huh.
This is worth it to me.
I'm sorry. I just have so much vinyl that he's rifling through right now.
Fucking reorganize things.
Look at it. Look at it. Beautiful.
Look at that. Okay.
Liquid Swords.
This is the front cover of what some people consider to be the best Wu-Tang solo album ever made. And a lot of people think one of the greatest hip-hop albums ever created. The Jizza, the Genius, Liquid Swords.
Mm-hmm.
So, you open this baby up, and that's part of the liner notes is a chessboard with all of these actual kung fu, all this kung fu going on. This guy's riding a motorcycle. He's ducking under that. These guys are duking it out. One guy's getting his head snatched from this way.
He's got two swords.
One guy's getting choked out over here. Actually came with actual chess pieces, and it's an actual chess board. Yeah, lift that up. Can you get that?
There we go.
So that's the record and the booklet, all that. The instrumentals. I mean, look at that. And then the actual chessboard.
It's one of my prized possessions.
Like I'm telling you, dude, I don't care how this sounds to people. This was worth it to me.
It's beautiful.
Just to see this again.
No, honestly, I didn't plan on buying this when I saw it initially, but the more I looked at it, the more I'm like, yeah, I gotta.
Yeah, no, it's
Lyrics.
It's an incredible piece. And yeah, see, here's the thing. When they do these special edition, record store day releases and stuff, sometimes it feels like it's just a cheap greatest hits re-release or, a single release, and they'll do like a colored vinyl or something, and you kind of get wrapped up in, oh, that's a really cool re-release, or that's just a really cool, it just looks dope. But when you get something like that where they really put the work in,
it's like a Criterion Collection Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Like they put clear attention into it, and I mean that makes it worth it pretty much regardless of the price.
Right.
If I have the money for it and it's something that I really want to celebrate, why not?
It's worth it. It's way worth it. So, you see something like that, and that really heightens your your interest in getting good at it, because then it becomes cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what something like The Queen's Gambit does.
Yeah.
When it gets into pop culture, when it gets into the zeitgeist, it makes it cool, makes it fun for people, makes them interested in things that they wouldn't normally be interested in.
I mean, yeah, Jizza did that for hip hop fans.
Yeah, for sure. And then after him, you get people like Lupe, who had a big emphasis on playing chess, and you just get these guys who make stuff like that shouldn't be cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
So that carries over the love, and that's why. But I haven't played in years, so you probably would mop the floor with me.
I'm just talking shit. I haven't played in a long time too, but it's fun. It's a fun game.
It is. It's
a fun game.
I never got to the point where I was like, I never memorized
Pawn to C9.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely never memorized that, but I also never memorized like move sets that
Oh,
people
yeah.
well, like the Queen's Gambit.
Right.
I didn't know how to do shit like that. I always played it and just improvised.
Yeah, and that is a level of playing chess. There are levels to it. There just are. And that's
always.
obviously what I was at too. Is just you play with your instincts. What's in front of you? You try to play at least one step ahead.
Yeah.
But you don't know these like move sets, and it's almost like a fighting game.
Yeah.
You know. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
You know what your individual pieces, like characters, almost can do.
Yeah.
And therefore you know these sets for how the specific table is lined up at the time, like what your options are.
Yeah.
And to store that much information in your brain is like, it's way beyond me.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Big time.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm a simpleton.
I just like to I fly by the seat of my pants. You know
Yeah.
what's funny is the way that I play chess is the same way that I would play a fighting game. It's
Yeah.
like just trying to
hit the
improvise.
buttons.
Just hit some
Just
moves.
go, yeah.
If I know a couple of moves, I'm like, I'll implement those. But even when I'm playing a fighting game, I always felt like it was cheap to just keep doing a move
Yeah.
that I knew. Even if I knew like the character's full move set, I just would want it to look smooth. I always thought
Yeah.
about it in a way that like
Yeah.
how it
You've got some class.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
I know that that's detrimental to actually being good at the game.
No, not at all. There's an absolute like this will be lost on younger people who didn't grow up with arcades.
Yeah.
Because in the days of arcades, you would have people lining up behind you that were about to play the fighting game you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're being cheap and just blocking and spamming the same move over and over again, you'd get judged for that.
Oh yeah, people.
Especially the person you're fighting against at the time would be like, stop spamming.
Yeah, kids,
stop it.
Kids were ruthless.
So if you did that, you wouldn't gain the respect. Even if you won, you wouldn't gain the respect.
Yeah.
So there is something to that. You want it to look cool. You want to win, but you want it to look cool.
Yeah. You want to look like you're actually fighting.
Right. Unless you're playing just with your friends and you really want to get under their skin, which is just my favorite. Just get them in the corner.
I was just about to say, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Don't tell people that this is a good thing to do.
They used to call me the corner fighter because I would just smash up against the other person and just start leveling them.
And you were just so happy with yourself.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I knew I didn't have to talk to get under anyone's skin. I would just stay silent and go,
yeah. And then after you win, you just like look up and you just smile like that. I mean, what do you want me to do?
sorry.
And then you got to pass the controller off, and you just want to. I just wanted to fucking strangle.
I know. That's why we don't play fighting games anymore. There's new Guilty Gear coming out.
Fuck you.
All right.
When we get the Twitch channel up and running, we'll get back to the fighting games, because
Fair.
that was fun when we were doing them in the.
Yeah.
We had the camera set up. That was
Yeah.
fun. We'll
Yep.
do that, and that'll be. It'll drive me fucking crazy, but
Yeah.
it'll be fun.
Maybe we can get a Gang Beast game going for old time's sake.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they have it on PlayStation
They
now.
do?
I wonder what that community is like, because I know that the shit. The game that was all the rage a couple months ago.
you always forget the name of
I
this
know,
game.
it's such an easy name. It's an easy. They look like Among Us characters. In fact, I think they did a collab with Among Us. Doesn't matter. It was everybody knows the battle royale racing game.
No, they're gonna.
You're right. You're right. Look it up. But anyway, that apparently the player base of that has kind of obviously dipped because. What did you even?
Fall Guys.
Fall Guys. The player base of that, I guess, is not.
Yeah,
I mean,
it dipped, but I feel like I heard about a lot of updates to it and like kind of a dedicated fan base sticking with it.
That's usually what happens.
Yeah.
If a game is good enough, you'll get that dedicated fan base where you're at least going to get a solid game. All I care about is there enough people playing the game that I don't have to worry about long queue times,
Yeah.
and am I always going to have enough players to have a full game? I don't care if there's 1,000 people playing, because for me, That's enough to have a full game
Sure.
and not have to be sitting in the queue for an hour and a half because there's nobody playing this fucking game.
Right.
Like Evolve. Rest in peace. I'll never forgive you guys for letting that game die. I know it could have been better. I know it was their fault.
Yeah. It died so the horror one versus many games.
What's that called? Asymmetrical multiplayer?
Asymmetrical, yeah.
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 By the way, I got Dead by Daylight.
That's one of them, yeah.
Yeah.
The other one was what? It was licensed. Predator, right?
There's Predator Hunting Ground.
Yeah.
And there's also a Jason Voorhees game.
What's it called? Just Jason?
It's just called Friday the 13th. But Dead by Daylight is apparently really fucking dope.
Yeah, apparently they've updated that a ton.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the DLC on it, and it's all licensed stuff,
yeah.
but it looks fucking awesome, dude.
Mm-hmm.
They've got like Stranger Things shit, all of the horror genres. I mean, it looks cool as fuck.
Nice.
So I'm hoping I want to do some shit around Halloween, like bring those games back.
Yeah,
we do the Twitch channel.
I still have a PlayStation with PT on it.
You should sell that fucking thing, man.
I know.
You probably make a lot of money off of it.
Yeah, I will pass out the day that my PS4 dies.
The legend.
Because it has PT on it.
The legend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll bring that back. I hate that I just said that. I don't want to bring that back. All right. Let's get more briskis. My briskis.
That was good. I contained myself.
You did?
I did.
Good for you.
Yeah. I made it last.
Yeah. Get these out of the way. Get these off.
Little coos on this one.
Off camera.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, Captain. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. It's going to be a night.
Oh, come on. You're spilling the goods.
I hope that was off camera.
I think it's just below. You're safe.
Just below the sight line. So I went on this site, got all these old school like vintage hats. This was one of them.
Nice. Yeah, I noticed.
And this, honestly, dude, I mean, I have a ton of weird vintage, just off kilter hats like this. This one has got more people have noticed this hat and commented on this hat than almost every hat that I've ever worn. And I have 80 hats maybe.
Yeah.
And this is the one, because people for some reason have this connection to this gas station that
there's something about gas stations, I guess. I mean, we all have to go to them, right?
I know. But the reason I bring it up is because obviously it's funny to me that there's that many people who have some kind of allegiance to a fucking gas station. But also this fucking shit, I want people to see that. So you brought out the hat, and you had the full gear going for this shit.
I had to. It's beaver season, baby.
Apparently, that sounds sexier. I don't know if you meant for that to be it's beaver season, baby. But apparently, this is an important thing for people.
So this shirt was gotten from Buc-ee's in
We
Daytona.
have a gas station theme going. I didn't even realize.
We do, yeah. Buc-ee's, which according to Google, Buc-ee's is a chain of convenience stores and gas stations with 39 locations in Texas, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. So they were founded in 1982. But what you have to know is that they have incredible merch.
Yeah.
Incredible merch. So Buc-ee's, apparently their entire shtick is that they just make gigantic Quickie Marts.
Yeah.
Like, it's essentially like a Target size. And they have obviously a bunch of gas stations within there,
Mm-hmm.
but then just this gigantic service station, which is apparently the biggest service station in Florida. The more you know.
The more you know.
Yeah. But it's from Texas. They serve barbecue. And
you didn't mention that detail when we talked about it.
they have barbecue. It's a little like Wawa, but turned into Walmart.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a wild thing for me to think about.
Yeah.
Because, well, people who are not from here will not understand what it was like when we started getting Wawas down here.
Revolutionized the game.
I mean, it literally changed Central Florida.
Well, because what did we have before that? 7-Eleven?
7-Eleven, racetracks. And racetracks, you could tell that racetracks felt the fire on their ass because they were like, oh, fuck. We got to make better food. We got to make better coffee. We gotta almost had him. You know that they knew that they needed to step their game up. See, 7-Eleven is so ubiquitous that they're like, we're gonna give you these dog shit donuts and pastries and
the hot dog on the roller,
and you're gonna drink your Slurpee, and even if you don't like it, you're gonna pretend like you like it. Sure. By the way, I don't get it with Slurpees. I don't get it.
What's there not to get?
Well, what's there to be so excited about? It's a fucking it's shredded ice and some trash Coca-Cola flavor added to it.
Snowy, sugary beautifulness.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Have you done the cherry and the Coke?
No.
The mix?
No.
You're missing out.
I mean, I'll go and I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do it because you just brought it up and said that's something that I'm missing. But I've done the Coca-Cola one. I've done all of their flavors, and it's just I don't get why people are so excited about fucking Slurpees, man. They're not they're not that good.
Something wrong with you.
They're not that good. There's nothing to them. I just don't get it.
I low-key love the bottom of the Slurpee when it starts just getting icy.
It's just ice and sugar.
You can't slurp it up anymore, and you just have to let it shovel into your face.
That's such a fat boy thing.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Judge me.
I don't get it. Yeah. And that's why 7-Elevens, they could all burn to the ground. I don't care. I just don't care because Wawa's here, and that's all that matters. And hopefully we get more Buc-ee's. I was gonna say Chucky's.
It's not Buc. It's not Chuck. Look, there's one opening in St. Augustine now too.
Yeah. See, people of Florida, Alabama, Texas, and where else? I think that was it, right? Florida,
knows?
Alabama, Texas, maybe Georgia.
Who can say?
It's
Texas, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. And there are currently Buc-ee's in development in Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, and South Carolina.
That's the idea of something like this that's been around for years, developing in these new places is always wild to me. That's why it was really strange to me when the Wawa started developing out here, because people who knew what they were so excited. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't shut up about the fact that we were getting the one.
Anyone from New Jersey and New York were obnoxious about it.
We're getting a Wawa. Can't wait. And I was like, a Wawa? What the fuck is a Wawa?
Sounds stupid.
Who goes to a Wawa or a Wawa?
A Wawa.
Wawa. A Wawa. This is a Wawa. Beaver Nuggets for all. Buc-ee's opens in Daytona location. Look at that.
Gas station located on I-95.
Amazing. And I mean, it was worth it. So hopefully they get closer to us. Because there's one in Daytona, and now they're developing one in St. Augustine.
St. Augustine too.
Dude,
yeah.
If they come here, and then we have competing Wawas and Buc-ee's,
man,
let's
I'd
go.
like to
That's
see
for
that,
the people, baby. That's for the people.
Yep.
That's what we need. That's partisanship.
Yep.
Or bipartisanship.
Bipartisanship.
That's bipartisanship.
That's capitalism, baby.
Let the people decide.
Let them fight.
Let them fight. Have you watched that, by the way?
Yes. Of course I have.
I still haven't watched it.
Oh,
I know. I mean, we're a little past the expiration date on that one. Talking
We
about
definitely
that.
are, yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, but I don't know. Were you ever a big monster movie fan?
Of course.
No, I mean like, like Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
King Ghidorah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I grew up with those movies. Yeah. Godzilla was a staple in my youth. And
How about this?
Huh.
What if we do one reel in with all of them? We go back and watch the ones from like the 50s and shit.
That's a lot of movies.
I know. Okay, we'll watch the highlight, like the big ones.
Okay.
We'll watch the like Mechagodzilla, Godzilla vs King Kong.
Let's see if
King
there's a ultimate list of the top Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
Maybe we can watch like the top 5.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
Make it manageable because there are tons.
Yeah.
There's so many Godzilla movies. Like, I mean, clearly they're making them to this day. To this day. But I mean, it goes back to the 50s.
Yeah.
So.
Or we could do just one reel in.
The Matthew Broderick one, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course.
Godzilla 2000, baby.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We'll talk about it.
I was obsessed with that soundtrack.
The Godzilla 2000
As a
soundtrack?
kid, yeah.
Don't you have it?
Yeah, it's in there somewhere.
It's in there
somewhere.
I'll grab.
Comment if you, as a child as well, were obsessed with the Godzilla soundtrack.
Well, yeah, just the Diddy song.
Uh-huh.
That was the big one. And I remember everybody making a big deal about the fact that he sampled a Zeppelin song.
Yeah.
And at the time, not understanding, I was like, who cares? He just that's what rappers do. They sample songs. I didn't get the significance of him. I mean, I get it now, but when you're a kid and you're seeing these articles, Zeppelin songs, like, gives a fuck. fuck Led Zeppelin. Who is that?
I think we exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Is I think we would have cared more if we grew up in like classic rock households. But
bro,
no.
When I think about stuff like that, I remember the first time, like my mom, all she listened to was 60s and 70s soul music and like 80s and 90s R&B. That was it.
Yeah.
Exclusively, right? And my dad, all he listened to was like 50s and 60s rock. And like so he was a Beach Boys, he liked Mungo Jerry, he liked fucking Johnny Cash, he liked the Beatles, he likes the Stones, stuff like that, but like early stuff, right?
American music.
Yeah, ironically, or I guess unironically.
No,
my dad.
During that time when he was still in Guyana, that's probably like what was the shining beacon of music, right? It's like American music.
That's what they're putting in your face. Is like this is what you want to aspire to. This is the
the
pinnacle
stuff.
of music.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah,
Look at these fucking guys.
I guess English music too. But.
Yeah, well, I mean, definitely in Guyana. I can only assume that, like, since they're so British leaning, that they probably were.
Sure.
But yeah, so you see all that, like that's what they leaned on. So the first like rock record that I saw with my own eyes that a family member had was AC/DC Back to Black. That was
because they had it in chronological order.
Right.
I am so sick. Quick aside. I had an iPod for a long time, and the first track that always automatically played, Back in Black, AC/DC.
Oh my God. Every single time.
Can't do it. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I can't listen to that record anymore. I can't listen to it. I've heard it so many times. Because when your iPod would like, when people were first getting like Bluetooth in their car or like aux devices in their car, so that I don't think that Apple was ready for that.
No,
because every time you plug that bitch in, it was like, oh, so you want to start from the beginning in alphabetical order?
We
the
have
same song,
7,000 songs for you. Here you go.
Every time you got in the car, it's just I'm back. Like, God damn it!
Yeah.
Every time
it haunts me. The first, because pretty similarly to you growing up, my family only had essentially salsa music and 70s disco.
Yeah.
And Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah. Can't forget Mike.
That was it. That was basically it. The only exception was the Rocky soundtrack, Rocky 4. Rocky 4 for Eye of the Tiger,
Right.
in particular.
Right.
I remember my dad sitting me down and dropping the needle on Eye of the Tiger and losing my mind. But the first, I think actually the only rock album that they had in there as well was Fleetwood Mac.
Rumors?
Of course.
Yeah.
Obviously. Because that was the crossover.
That was the one, yeah.
Yeah, the
That was
crossover.
the big one. Everybody had that one.
Yeah, so that was my first introduction to like classic rock was through that, because they weren't classic rock people. Like in the 70s in New York, you only had two lanes basically. It was like dance music or rock.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And they were both feet in dance music.
Yeah.
So, we had a bunch of classic salsa records and, like I said, Michael Jackson and disco.
Yeah.
Bee Gees.
My parents, I guess, right before they stopped buying albums altogether, because at this point they were having kids. Dom was, my eldest brother, Adrian, he was born at this point. Dom was born, and I was born at this point, but I was a baby. I think the last record that they bought that I can think of when I think about their collection of music was they bought Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby, and
On vinyl?
MC Hammers. No, these were CDs.
Okay.
And MC. Their vinyl collection they stopped a long time ago. When I look at like the stuff that they were buying.
Yeah, by and large, once CD came around, people were like, fuck it.
Yeah, see that, and that's a funny thing, because we now we look at that stuff and it's like we'll buy it for a myriad of reasons, right?
Sure.
For the novelty, for if there's a special edition, if the pricing is better on this, that, and the other, what
Album
have
art.
you, right? But we have choices. So if there's something on vinyl that you want to hear it on vinyl, and you want those liner notes, and there's a special blah 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 blah, right? You'll buy it on vinyl, or sometimes I'll still cop a CD because I'm like, I'll just buy the CD. I just want to own the music, right?
Yeah.
But back then, they were looking at it like this is how technology is moving.
Yeah.
So once records were over, they were like, well, those are done. So those go into the attic, and we're going to buy CDs because that's what they're telling us to buy.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people from that generation were still like, because we're obviously missing a major component here, which is cassette tape. Mm-hmm. But I feel like cassettes were there for the convenience. You buy a cassette if you just want to have it in your car, but you can still buy the vinyl if you want it for your house, for your sound system.
I feel like, and I may be wrong about this because admittedly I haven't done the research, but I feel like tapes were, in the grand scheme of things, had a very short shelf life when it comes to everything else. CDs dominated, vinyl records dominated, tapes were, to me, feel like, and again, I don't fucking know. But the way that it seems, with the way that they talk, with the way that people talk about them, with the way that I see them, is it felt like a thing that was like a in-between kind of thing where records went to tapes, but tapes only for a short period of time, and then scientists were like, look, you don't have to buy those. We have CDRs ready to go.
Skip the tracks.
Yeah, you don't have to. We can just click, click, click. You don't have to.
I think, because I agree with you. I think that perception, though, is based on our life experience, though.
Yeah.
Because I think cassette tapes came out in the late 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like, what was it, the beta first, or was that VHS? That was that video. What was the other audio alternative to cassette?
8 tracks?
8-track.
Yeah.
Right. 8-track. Because there's this literally almost exactly the same fight between VHS and Beta, Betamax.
Yeah.
With the audio wars. So I feel like that's based on our perception because we obviously were only really conscious in the 90s.
Yeah.
You were only alive in the 90s. But, whatever.
Right.
It's
right.
fine.
Right.
It's fine. We're not talking about age right now.
I mean, what do you have? What, a year and a half?
Yeah. Late 88. Okay.
Oh, did you buy the Rakim record that came out that year? Yeah.
The mic. And instead of Baby Mozart, that's what I got in the womb.
Yeah.
Was
headphones in your mom's stomach.
paid in full.
I was a fiend.
No, but what I was saying was, I feel like that's just based on our perception because we weren't around in obviously the 70s or the 80s.
Yeah.
So cassettes were huge back then.
Yeah.
Because it's convenience factor within that.
Yeah.
But then as soon as CDs came out, it was like, okay, sure, there was a small sliver of audiophiles who were like, no, like these sound terrible. I can skip through tracks now, and that's cool. And it's like on this little disc, which is cool too. But it sounds awful.
Yeah.
But that's like a little bit of people.
Yeah.
Whereas the vast majority of people are like, okay, I'm trading in all of my cassette tapes, even though they sound better, for CDs immediately.
Yeah. And there's not going to be, millions of audiophiles who are listening to a tape versus a CD and going,
Absolutely
you know
not.
what? It just sounds better. Like, they didn't give a fuck.
No. And they're like, this is like the audio. Yeah, you got to pay respect for the audiophiles if you're some hipster who enjoys listening to vinyl records nowadays, because them and the DJs were the only people that were still buying vinyl. That's the only reason why vinyl's still going today.
Yeah.
Is because there was enough of a minority of people who were buying these things to keep it afloat until there became this resurgence of like audiophile culture to be like, it's worth it, and they look cool, and they're now like pieces of wall art for you if you want it to be, and like things that you can have like conversation starters in your house.
Yeah.
And it's become this entire thing. But it's all because people were dorks about it, basically.
Yeah. I remember an ex-girlfriend of mine, her dad, he pulled out this suitcase, and I was like, oh, I guess he's going to murder me now. He's going to pull out an AR or something, put the gun together.
It just glows gold.
Like, you know what I've been through to get this? He pulls out this suitcase, opens it up, and he's got, every classic rap record from like the late 80s to, I'd say from like, he had the golden era from like 87 to 93. He had pretty much everything. He had EPMD, he had Paid in Full from Eric B. and Rakim. He had 3 Feet High and Rising. He had NWA, straight out of Compton. He had the golden era. He had all the Tribe records, but tapes. So he had this suitcase full of tape decks, right?
Yeah.
And he just put it in my lap, and it was just like, open that up, because he knew that I was a big hip hop guy.
You smell the age in them.
And I opened it up, and I was just like, oh. And I didn't even know what to do with it, because I didn't have a tape deck. I didn't have any way of playing them. I just had to sit there and admire them. And he didn't have a tape deck either.
Ugh.
He had just held on to the tapes.
Yeah.
But we just sat there and just admired them,
Yeah.
Just admired this piece of dead technology.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. That's just, I don't know. It's funny because he was such an asshole to me in other instances, but in some ways he was really nice to me.
Yeah.
This is weird.
This is the turn in your movie. Where
Yeah.
he shows a little bit of his softer side.
Yeah, and people go, he's lightening up. He kind of maybe he's done enough that he likes him now.
Yeah.
Well, she's still an ex, so
Sorry.
I haven't talked to that guy in years. So, but seeing that, and just appreciating tech from that time frame, because that's the other thing is you have to appreciate the actual tech from that time frame.
Yeah.
What people were trying to do with the limited amount of technology that they had.
Well, you think about hip hop culture in particular, and so much of it is in cassette tape.
Oh yeah,
Mixtapes. I mean, literally, it's called a mixtape for a reason.
yeah, literal mixtapes.
Right. So
Actually creating those tapes.
yeah, the ability to do that was exclusive to cassette tapes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we did it. We made multiple tapes of like, you know, recording from the radio,
Right.
recording that onto the actual tape, like erasing like actual, like getting blank tapes or writing over or trying to write over old tapes. Like, that's the shit that these kids, man, I hate to be the get off my lawn guy, but
Yeah.
they just they'll never appreciate something like that because they never had to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I told you this before, but I was searching through my older brother's cassette tapes, and there's tons of mix tapes in there. And one of them I found was a recording that he had to have been when we were at a family reunion in New York. And it was Hot 97, about an hour and a half of Hot 97 in 96. And it's just, it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a time capsule.
Yeah.
And to have that still is just like invaluable, because like, you know, that's not saved anywhere.
Right.
It was just on the airwaves, and it probably deleted immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
But to have that, to have a little piece of that is special, and you couldn't do that with a CD.
Yeah.
You know? So there's some, as shitty as technology can get, there are still some little nuggets that are valuable from it that you can take. One more question for you.
Sure.
Do you remember the first vinyl record you bought?
The first vinyl record I bought. That's a good question, man.
It doesn't have to be with your own money, that you specifically went out and got for yourself.
Well, I can tell you the CDs that I bought. The vinyl records is harder for me to recollect. That's I wonder. I don't know. I don't know what the first vinyl. It was something. I know it was something weird and random. I'd have to like go back and look at my collection, but I would assume that it was like some weird like Method Man's first record or something like that. Some album that like doesn't really have any personal standing with me or anything, but just wanting to get into that, just wanting to start collecting.
Yeah.
Because for a while, my my parents, they had a collection of like I said, they were buying albums actively, so they had a collection, but that collection was sitting in the attic, and I didn't touch it. I didn't do anything with it. I didn't think, like, I just left it up there. I was like, that's their stuff. I'm not gonna mess with it. Then I wanted to do my own thing, so I didn't start with any of those records. I think it might have been Thriller. I think I bought that from a friend. I think I bought it off a friend who didn't. It was like, it's a first edition Thriller record, but the jacket's kind of beat up, so they didn't really. They were like, fuck it, you can have it. I think that's the first vinyl record I bought.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first CD, I want to say this because it's kind of in the zeitgeist a little bit. I bought these were the first CDs I bought when my parents allowed me to just go and buy CDs and not, they have to be parental advised, they have to be edited. We have to, like, they were just like, fuck it, go.
Such a waste of money.
Such a waste of money. What is the point of those fucking albums, man? I have a handful of CDs that are that I got from them, my parents, that are edited, and it's just like, I appreciate that you bought me these, but they can go straight to the compost. What am I supposed to do with these?
More recently, within like the past 5 years, I went to Goodwill and I found The Love Below and what was the other one? Speakerbox. And I was like, awesome.
Yeah.
I never bought this album on CD.
Yeah.
On CD.
Mm-hmm.
And so I picked it up, put it in, edited.
Ugh.
I went, this sucks. I want to break it.
It sucks so much.
Throw it away. It's so disappointing.
So the I went out and I went to FYE.
Of course. Because you need to spend $25 on a CD.
Of course. So I'm gonna spend as much money as I possibly can. I bought NERD's In Search Of. I bought Busta Rhymes' Genesis, and I bought DMX The Great Depression. So I had skipped all of his world-changing albums, and I bought The Great Depression.
Funny you say that. The Great Depression was the first DMX album I bought too.
It's a good record. It's I mean, obviously with his untimely passing and everything, I was when I'm not gonna get into who should show him love when he's alive, blah, 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 all that bullshit. He's fucking DMX. Everybody was showing him love.
Sure.
If you're a hip hop fan. But I was listening to his older records, and I don't want to get into a critical analysis of his albums right here because we could spend another hour talking about his albums. But I will say that his bigger songs are on his older albums, but he got better as a rapper and as a album creator later. The Great Depression, I think, as an album is
more cohesive.
Then for sure.
Yeah.
Like his older shit, he had these weird skits, and there was definitely filler on the older albums. Even if they have like his big records, there's filler on those shits. The Great Depression, for the most part, doesn't have a lot of filler on it. It's like a solid record almost from front to back.
Yeah. But it doesn't have Party Up on it, so it's like
exactly.
All right.
Exactly. I think the biggest song is Who We Be is probably the biggest record on that album. They don't know who we be. They don't know who we be. Who we be, yeah.
We Right
and then
Here.
We Right Here. That's the big. That's
Right
another
Here
big
was the
one.
big one, yeah.
We right here. We ain't going anywhere. We right here. What?
I was gonna do it, but I'm glad you did.
So so those are the first three records that I bought on CD.
Nice.
So there.
Nice. My first vinyl record was what you see here, Marco.
Yes.
Victory 2004, featuring Notorious B.I.G.,
That's
P.
amazing.
Diddy, Busta Rhymes, 50 Cent, and Lloyd Banks.
Amazing.
It's the first single from Bad Boy's 10th anniversary. The hits.
When Diddy was just throwing random artists on these songs.
Yeah. So that was my first. I remember the experience of buying that because I was like, all right. I was still living with my parents, obviously. And I'm like, all right, they still have their record player. I remember that. And I was in downtown Disney at the Virgin Record Store.
Rest in peace to Downtown Disney.
At the Virgin Record Store.
The Virgin Record Store. What?
I was on a date at the time. I forget what movie we saw. It was either Ponyo or Hellboy 2. It was one or the other. And
Why would you take a date to Ponyo?
it's a good movie, man.
It is.
It's a good movie. And so after the movie, we headed over to the record store, and trying to look like a cool guy, I decided to look in their vinyl.
Nice.
This is like hipster Adam, though. This is like in a totally pure place of me just trying to look cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is what, 2015, 2016?
Way before that. It was like 2007.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. That's what I meant. 2005 or 2006. I didn't mean 2015.
Yeah.
I meant 2005, 2006. So,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
So after that, I was just kind of perusing through. I'm like, these are really expensive.
Yeah.
and not realizing that like there's a price hike, especially at the time, because records were not, just selling.
Yeah.
And I found that one. I found Victory 2004, and it was a single. And I'm like, I got enough money for a single.
Yeah.
It was like $15, and I went, I'm buying it because I like 50 Cent nowadays. And so I picked it up. and I'm pretty sure I still have it. In somewhere within that volume of vinyl.
We might have to dust that one off.
Yeah. And she too is an ex. So if that tells you anything.
What that tells you is music lasts forever. Women are temporary. I didn't think you were gonna cheers on that one.
No, I feel uncomfortable doing that.
I'm kidding. I'm just bitter.
We
that's
joke.
all.
We joke.
I don't. I'm bitter.
Do you know what else is bitter?
Tell me.
The spear.
Well, Adam, I would love to hear your opinion on this beer. So, this is from the Threes Brewing
Threes.
SFY double IPA.
Our very first Threes Brewing beer.
Yeah, that's exciting, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize, but you're right. Yeah.
I really do enjoy their art.
Yes.
It's very stark, minimalist.
Minimalist.
Yeah, and colorful. I like it.
Yeah. I was watching this thing on Twitter, and it was somebody posted Donatella Versace, her little Vogue interview, or whoever does that stupid interview where they ask people random questions in their house, and it just keeps cutting to them in different rooms of their house. By the way, if it's Vogue or Interview Magazine or whoever it is, I hate it. So how about that? Fuck you. I hate it.
Okay.
It's so stupid. It's just some guy off camera who's like, is your favorite sandwich a peanut butter and jelly or a turkey sandwich? And then the celebrity's like,
it is actually pesto.
And and then they cut to another, and I'm just like, look, this format, I don't know if you think it's cute or whatever your opinion on it is. It's not good. But anyway, I was watching this because they were saying how funny it was. And one of the things that they were like, what do you want to see people get rid of in fashion? And she was like, minimalism. And I was like, oh, fuck. Because even if I'm a fucking weird hoarder of certain things, in my mind, I'm a minimalist. And so when I see a label like this, I go...
You're threatened?
No, I like it. I love it. It's the...
I meant you're threatened by Versace's take on that.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I hear her and I go, I'm sorry. Because I'm into this. This is dope. It's a really cool label.
It's nice. Just a quick correction, I suppose. Threes Brewing is from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn?
Where Brooklyn at?
Where Brooklyn at?
Yeah.
All right, well, Adam, please tell the people what you think of this. Brewski.
I mean, I'm getting exactly what I'm looking for here. Obviously with a double IPA, you're getting the bitterness. The bitterness you expect from an IPA, but also there's like, it's almost so extreme that you get this sweetness that kind of curts it a little bit, you know? At 8.3%, you're not gonna screw around with this guy. All right?
Not this guy.
Not this guy.
Not this guy.
You gotta pay it its respect, and I respect that. Yeah, I mean it's very much a simple, well done, super respectable, strong IPA. I don't know what much more there is to say about it. Much like its imagery, it's very minimalist, but in a good way, in an appealing way. I'm gonna give this guy one more sip.
One more.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Are we cutting between scores still? Are we doing the 0.75s?
I mean, it annoys me, but it's been
Perfect.
done.
4.75 is what I'm giving this one. It's a 4.75.
All right. Okay. I'm going to give it a 4.5. Mostly because in between scores annoy me, but also because it's really good. It's double IPA. You're thinking, okay, how close are we getting to the point where you start to taste the alcohol content of it? And I don't think we're at that point. There's this nice citrusy bite at the front end of it.
In the front. Yep.
It's bitter, but it's not something that's gonna, it's not a big turnoff. I think this is a good double IPA for anybody who has kind of graduated into, you're a craft beer drinker and you want to kind of step it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
This is a good place to start. It's very
like a moderate
solid
level, I feel.
Yes. And it's not something that's gonna you want a double IPA, but you don't want the flavor, I guess, to be too aggressive or abrasive.
It doesn't give me that back of the throat like scratchiness I sometimes get from the IPAs.
Yeah.
That's why I gave it the little kick up.
You get a little kick up.
Yeah.
So, a 4.5 for myself and a 4.75 for you, my friend. You think we got it?
I know we got it.
Well, then, if you say we got it, then that means we got it. This has been the One Baron Podcast for myself, Marco Dupa, for Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Arf.
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer. Like, share, and subscribe everywhere podcasts are sold or listened to. And always, 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 have a beautiful evening.
We love you. I didn't want to disrespect DMX by trying to bark. So,
So that's what you gave us?
arf.
Arf, arf.
Arf, arf. Arf, arf. There you go. That's what I was trying to avoid.